Welcome to another episode of Skeptic's Corner, Sweet Springs Sanatorium. Sanatorium, resort park, the spring all in itself is just amazing. We had a guest on, we have him back in Harkey. So we're gonna open up, and I guess we're gonna open up like this. This location is Sweet Springs. It was a big location, occupied by George Washington, blueprints of Thomas Jefferson. Some really big names have been to this location. Did you know anything about this location, Harkey? Then Taylor, Maeve, Gary. What did you know about this location going into it? And what made you come on the show, Harkey?
No, I didn't know anything about the location. Was thrilled that, well, I say thrilled that Gary asked me to be a part of it. And then I find out later, we'll find out later as we talk, that I don't know if it was such a great thing to do after all. No, but it was, I do thank you for letting me be a part of this team and being able to do all that. So, no, it was interesting for sure to find out all the things about it. But I'm glad I didn't know a lot about it.
Okay.
Very, very, very fortunate on that part.
What about you, Taylor? We know that we had you on a short leash because Bobby Mackey's was kind of
Yeah. You book burned my books. No, I didn't know anything. And not only that, I thought it was a completely different location we were going to. The whole time, I remember I had guessed what it was, and I wrote it down. I was like, I know where we're going. Completely wrong. Never even heard of Sweet Springs. So no, I did not know a single thing.
Where'd you guess?
Yeah, I think Trans-Allegheny.
I thought that's what you were going to guess, and that's what I was glad that I was like, I know what he's thinking. He's not right.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was in a similar state, right? Same state. Mm-hmm. Yep. It was Trans-Allegheny. So, yep, I didn't know.
Maeve.
I wasn't there.
I know you wasn't there, Maeve, but you've been to Sweet Springs. You actually spent the night there. The time that you spent there, just kind of tell us a little bit about it. Why were you there? I mean, obviously you were with another team before you landed on your forever team. But how was your experience when you were there?
I actually went with a really good friend of mine and his team, the Ghost Guild. Okay. And they are amazing. And I was really excited to go because they have some really cool equipment. And so I loved that place. And honestly, it was one of those, like, we heard some stuff, we can get into that later. And I literally almost ended up in my friend Amanda's lap because I was like, so it was good.
Okay, Gary, what about you?
So I didn't know much about going into it. I just knew it may have some hauntings going on because there's not a lot of history about the location. Like, there's not a lot known why there may be hauntings, other than just people died there because it was an old person's home at one point, all this kind of stuff. So like that played a big part into probably deaths around. But I don't think there was any like big tragedies or anything like there. Like we had Waverly, obviously a lot of people died from tuberculosis. There's a lot of other things that have happened. Even Bobby Mackey, supposedly somebody got killed there and all that kind of stuff. So it was a big difference. This one, there wasn't the same type of history. So I didn't know much about that, which I think that's what made it an interesting investigation.
Okay, so I know you guys didn't know much about it. We know a little bit more about it now, but did you know that there's supposed to be healing qualities to the spring that's there at that sanatorium?
If I would have known that, I would have got in. My back needs a healing. Yeah. But did not know that. But again, I think they say that with a lot of natural springs. Like, okay. I'm from Florida. There's a lot of natural springs. Everybody's like, oh, it's got healing waters. I think it's just because the water's cold.
Oh, yeah.
That's all it is. It's just because the water's cold. It's like, not really.
Use this quartz to cure your tumor.
Yeah.
It's like, what is this? Yeah.
So I don't know if I would put much credence into it because we have springs all over Florida and everybody says, oh, we have the Fountain of Youth, supposedly. Not real in St. Augustine, but like, I don't know. It's just, to me, it's just a way to get people to come when that was a big popping resort.
Okay, so Maeve, when you spent some time there, were you able to get in the water, or did you guys go through anything in terms of healing properties that the water provided when you were there?
Oh yeah, we sat down there for a while. I want to say our guide got in the water, but we all hung out. We actually investigated down there by that pool. Okay. That was pretty cool.
Did he turn into Benjamin Button?
I think he's still there. So.
That's funny. So we arrive. Let me paint this beautiful picture for you, Maeve, and for everybody out there. We released Euro Shrine, and Harkey showed up. And when he showed up, he was like, man, that'll be something I'd like to do. I don't believe in ghosts. None of that'll bother me. Let's do it. So Gary was like, you know what? Deal. We're going to do it. We're going to make it happen. So we pull up at Sweet Springs. Obviously, he's never done this before, correct? You've never been on a ghost hunting,
Never been on a
ghost adventure or anything like that. So he had no idea what he was doing. So I guess my question, we're gonna start out before we jump into the investigation. So we arrive, we get out, and we get there, everybody's like initial response on like, what does this place look like to you? So what does this place look like for Harkey versus what you thought it was gonna look like when you pulled up? Because you always have that, I don't believe in ghosts, like we probably finna go to some house, some little small church. Like you pull up to this location, like what's going through your head?
Right, it's large, it's massive. So to me, and in comparison to what, somebody says we're going to take you look for some ghost or whatever. You think you're going to do like a haunted house, like you said, like it might be some plantation-looking white house or something. But you think in Amityville too, right?
Right.
And everybody's seen these movies, so it's like you got these things in your mind. But no, this was just a huge, gigantic place, like what, three stories probably tall, and probably the depth of a football field each way, and so very large, very massive, but definitely. And at night, as it got dark, it got even more spooky.
So Taylor, I know you kind of remember going back to your first investigation. Like obviously, Harkey's never been on one. He goes on his first investigation. Going back to your first investigation ever, the first one you ever got into, the reasons why you got into it. What can you say from what you saw from Harkey during his first investigation, just even on night one?
Oh, what can I say?
As being a rookie, like a young guy not knowing what he's doing, like how did he do?
Oh, I don't know. I think he did good. I think the craziest part is doing the first solo, right? Because you go in with a group and you're like, whoa, this is kind of interesting, but you have a support blanket around you. You got a team around you. Yeah. But when you go in by yourself, it's just, you never know what to expect. So like your brain is like, do I expect something like to happen every time? Like, are these guys experiencing constant paranormal? Or what the reality is probably nothing's gonna happen. So yeah, your brain likes to jump to like something's gonna happen. I think he did a great job the first time. I don't think he did anything that I would have like said, no, you should try this. It's just, you just go in, you gotta try it. It's scary, and that's it.
Here we go, Taylor, and I want you to answer this question for me, so I'll go to Maeve. Chris Harkey's first ever investigation happened at Sweet Springs. Taylor Russ' first investigation happened Waverly. That was your first ever investigation ever in your life. Got you. Maeve, your first investigation ever.
There is no way I can remember that.
Oh, it's been that many.
19.
Are you calling her old?
No, I'm calling me old.
Yeah, back in my day.
Like we didn't even have equipment. We went in with like a pencil.
They would just go with sticks.
Over there with the sticks.
I don't even think we had those. Actually,
Tuning forks.
like for real, we would just go like break into places. Like I haven't. Like I want to say like my first like big place that like those pay to play kind of places was Waverly, I think.
Okay. Gary, what about you?
It's either I did Mansfield when I lived in Cleveland, but then I also did an old funeral home that had caught fire and a lot of people died at. That I don't know which one was first. I feel like the funeral home was first and then Mansfield was second.
Okay.
So I would say that funeral home was probably my first, and I did with a local team in Cleveland.
Okay, my first time was a textile mill in Morganton, North Carolina.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was really, I was really emotional because I hadn't experienced anything like it. So it's really different. It's definitely a different thing. So we're gonna dive into the investigation because I'm super excited about this investigation because this was the first time, Gary, that we had a guest come on, Maeve, Taylor. First time we had a guest come on that we get a name right off the back in group investigation. I'm trying to figure out, Harkey, where the name came from. You kind of jump right in like a seasoned vet. You get a name.
True. Yeah. Yep.
You get a name. Was that the start of the?
I think Taylor kind of got the name to come out, but I heard the name. I'm pretty sure. I think we all heard what we heard.
Okay. Amanda, do you need our help? Okay.
So, yeah, once I got that, I mean, I was okay. Now I'm hooked. Now now we're interested for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, yeah,
Reel it in.
Yeah. So Taylor gets the Amanda on the app. You get help, or you hear help.
yes,
You hear
Yeah,
what it sounds like help.
yes.
Did anybody else hear help?
I wrote down help as well.
Okay.
I don't know if it was the same question. I would think it was, but I don't remember if it was the same question. But we both did hear help at some point.
Okay. So we got help. We got the same answer. So now we're trying to figure out Amanda and what type of help she needs. Right? So we're now on this journey to find help for Amanda. Taylor, what kind of help do you think Amanda needs at this point? Because obviously she's an entity. Are we stuck here? Are we not stuck here? Like, what kind of help can we provide for Amanda?
I have no connection to Amanda. That was Harky.
Yeah.
So I pulled the name. Now that app sometimes will pull a lot of names, but if you feel like it sticks to you, Harky felt like it stuck to him. For some reason, Harky felt called to Amanda.
Yeah.
So I'm not disqualifying his experience at all.
Okay.
Like that's just what he experienced. That was just like, okay, next. Like, I forgot Amanda was even a thing, and I found out after Harky was talking to Amanda and stuff later.
I'm trying to have a conversation. I don't know why her relationship died so soon. But
Yeah.
Awesome.
was trying.
So awesome. He married her.
Yeah, Amanda. Yeah, he was called to Amanda.
I was in. Yep.
So
That's great. So, Maeve, when you came on your investigation, did you guys get any activity? And if you did, what kind of activity did you get?
We actually got quite a bit. I want to say there was a lot of walking around. We heard a lot of footsteps. We were sitting, I can't remember where we were, but it was kind of like the plastic thing. Like we heard stuff coming towards us. And like I said, it was like on one side of us, we'd hear like footsteps and stuff. And then on the other end of the hall, it got really loud. And so, like I said, that's why I was scooting over into my friend Amanda's lap.
Okay.
wow.
Okay.
Full circle.
Yeah.
How about that?
Gary,
Yes.
so we're going to go night one because night two, we'll start with night one. We go in a group. Amanda comes across the app, and we know how you feel about the apps. It was just a random name that
Correct.
came across. Harky grabbed the name. He also attached help with it as well. As a seasoned investigator, how would you view this, the Amanda, the help, from a paranormal standpoint?
So the thing is with names, like a place like this, it could have said Amanda, could have said Bridget, it could have said Jennifer, Brittany, Katie. It could have been any of those names, and we would have latched onto it because any of those names could have possibly stayed there and died there.
Yes.
So that's the problem with a name coming across or something like that. It's like, yes, we're at somewhere where thousands and thousands of people have been, hundreds and hundreds have died. I'm sure somebody named Amanda has died there. So it would make sense in the lore of things that have happened around there. Okay. But now, do I see it as evidence? No, because again, I'm not a big fan of the apps. I know he'll contest it. Location, you got to have service for the apps a lot of the time. I feel like they have a word bank, they just spit out words, and it gives you things and then you latch on. So for example, if it throws out help, most people's question, which we use, what do you want help with? Now you're latching onto the word that was given to you. That could have just been a random word that was given up, could have never been said. Now I could also be wrong. It could be something was said and that's what they're asking for help. But again, as my point of view, I don't think it deals with that. I think it just throws out random words, and people usually just latch onto it and they make it what they want it to be. Because it's so easy to do that with any word. If you use that word again in another sentence, you can make it be anything you need for evidence. If it would have said lock, oh, what do you want us to lock? Were you locked up? I can make any word into a sentence dealing with paranormal in the moment. That's my only problem with apps.
Okay.
Versus answering a direct question. Now, if you ask a direct question and you get a response on it, so if we would have said, hey, how did you die? And it said hang, okay, well, that's a whole nother story. But with just throwing out a random name without any response to things, like that's where it makes it harder. If it's a direct response to a question, then it's harder to dispute.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we have night one. Obviously, you can see the times. I was very surprised at some of the length of solos on night one, but I think night two, and I don't want to, if there's anything you want to talk about in night one, because I really want to get to night two. If there's anything you guys want to talk about in night one, we could talk about it, but I really want to get to
night
two.
One, obviously, I want to go ahead and talk about where I heard the noise when I walked back in.
Okay.
Okay. There's some that just did that. Can you do that again? My battery was dying, so I had to walk back out and walk back in with a new battery. And it still only had like 10, 15 minutes. So I never made it to another camera because of the battery. And I'll ask Harkey because he deals with ACs and stuff. To me, it sounded like a heater turning on, a heater or an AC or something. That sound, because that's what it sounded. It was that loud bang like an AC or heater turning on. Harkey, I know you deal with ACs and heaters, so like,
now that you say that,
like, do you realistically think that could have been?
It could have been the boiler.
Yeah. So like, that's what it sounded like it could have been. But
to the boiler, yeah.
I will say, in the moment, I stopped in my tracks.
Yes.
I'm not gonna discredit that because I want to know what it was. But like, I didn't leave. I wanted to see if there was. If it would have made noise again, I would have went towards it. But the thing that would suck, if I would have went towards it, it would have just been my camera. You would have not known what was going on. Because at that moment, Dee's in my ear. Where the heck are you? Because he can't see.
Yeah.
So he doesn't know where I'm at. So I'm like, I heard something. I'm investigating.
Yeah.
So he's just going by the whim. Okay, what is he doing? He doesn't know.
No, go.
And we did do a group investigation to start, right?
Yes.
So we all went in together. So again, you're all of us, and then we asked the question:
How many people are down here?
And we all had boards. We all wrote down
7.
what we thought was said. So then we compared, and at the end it said 7. Now there was 3 of us, or however many was in the room at the time, but all together collectively at the place at the time at that night was 7.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So that
I
was
noticed that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
yes. That's counting you outside. Nick, Evan. So it was so anyway, I'm getting goosebumps talking
I
about
honestly
that.
I didn't realize that either. By the way,
I didn't realize that.
Well, that was
either.
what I was putting together. So anyway, I just didn't know if anybody caught that.
Wow,
Or not.
I didn't know.
No, we did not.
We did
Did you
not.
catch that?
Yeah.
You knew there were 7 people in the whole everybody?
Yeah.
And that's what you thought it referenced?
Yeah.
Oh,
No, there's no way you thought that.
no way you caught that. There's no way you caught that.
Only the
Everyone
rookie
did.
caught that. I'm trying
you
to
didn't?
figure out. Yeah.
Yeah, he caught that.
He caught it right now when you said it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, honestly, that's what I put together. I just thought anyway.
Yeah.
Thought that was unique.
Brad Pitt, we referenced earlier.
Yes.
7?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
That was right. Yeah. Thank goodness it didn't go down like that.
What's in the box?
I wasn't looking in any boxes. I'll tell you that.
So we get to night 2, and night 2 is my favorite one. And I didn't want to skip over night 1, but I was really trying to get to night 2 because I want to hit everything in night 2. So we're going to night 2, and we offer up duos. And night 2 is one of my favorite parts of the investigation because we're going to the most active part of the location. Room 3007, the nurses' quarters, and this is the hot spot. So now we're going into night 2, completely different side of the sanatorium. What are you guys thinking going into it, having already experienced it versus not experiencing it, going in and not knowing what to expect? So what are your expectations going into night 2?
And again, you're by yourselves this time, so you're on your own.
Yeah.
So, again,
we got duos, we got
I
solos.
completely enjoyed having somebody. I can go and tell you that right now. That's great. Like you say, it's a little company, or I don't know, it just seems. But when I was in there by myself, knowing what to expect, what I was expecting is that to build off of what we'd already heard and seen, or whatever we thought.
Right.
But the only problem I did have going into night 2 was kind of hearing a few, maybe just someone, if someone said they experienced something I didn't experience, it got me in my mind already, okay, and now I'm going to be listening for that, or I'm going to be looking for that. It planted something for me, you know? So, I mean, I that was just me.
Yeah.
So, that's how it went for me.
Yeah, so there's a lot of reasons I like the duos. I think there's an inherent problem with solos, especially if you're not Gary, is that once you see something scary, a lot of times you're gonna flee, right?
Yeah.
You're not gonna chase it. So when you have duos, not only have better camera stability, you're getting like a more comfortable interaction, you're also reacting to potential evidence a lot better, with a lot more like inquisitive nature, instead of being so fearful in that moment and like fight or flight kicks in. You're actually like able to like, oh, you're with me too, like let's do this together, like what is that, hey, are you over there? You know, so it actually allows for potential better evidence sometimes, and it's better than sometimes it can be better than trios or more, because less people, less going on. So 2 sometimes is the magic number. I think we need to do it more. I think obviously we had a different situation back then with 3 camera guys, so it's gonna be hard to replicate that, but I really like the duos.
Okay, Maeve, when you guys visited Sweet Springs, what was the most active part for you guys? Was it 3007 in the nurses quarters, or was it another area of the sanatorium?
I can't remember where it was. There were offices though, and it had like the end of the hall had offices, and when we were there, all the papers were everywhere. It was really like they had file cabinets and stuff, but there was so much paper and so much just crap on the floor that any kind of rustle you could hear. And so there was like big doors, like I want to say like theater doors. I don't know where I was at. And they were like, I don't know. But that's where I heard the plastic. It sounded like plastic moving. It sounded like, it was just so loud. And my friend Nelson is kind of like you a little bit. And he was like, it's probably a raccoon. And I'm like, and I was just, like I said, scooting over. And to me, it was just so loud and so coming from both ends.
Yeah.
I just kind of felt trapped in that. So.
Okay.
I can't remember where it's at.
3007, Gary, nurses quarters. So there's several questions that I have to ask you. We have at least one person in this group that smells something in the room, and he smelled it often, and we're gonna ask him about those smells. Not only did he get smells, but he also got chills that came with that smell. And a lot of communication back in terms of, is anybody in here with me? I am. Just curious, how do you explain that?
The chills, it was cold outside. Chills, it was cold outside. And then fear. Fear will play into that. The sound, I didn't hear it when it came through. He may have heard it even on the watching back. I did not hear it. And then I don't think, what was the other part? You said
I said he.
Oh, the smell.
The smell.
The
chill. Yeah.
He said he smelled something during group too. So like I'll say like he kept smelling, but none of us smelled anything. So it was only him. So I don't know how to. To me, I would chalk that up to his taste buds.
It was your taste buds. Yes.
Taste buds.
There you go.
Yeah. So like he, that's what I would chalk it to. But I don't. Again, none of us smelt it. So like I'm not going to discredit what he smelled it, but we didn't smell it, so we don't know.
Yeah.
I despise duos. I think it takes away that whole aspect of. Because I think it takes away the whole fear factor. I think you should. I think. Well, I think the whole thing is you're trying to investigate with 2 people. You're not scared to do anything. So, like, if something happens, okay, well, why can't you do that when you're by yourself? Because more things. I've noticed more things happen when we're by ourselves. That's why my duo is cut, because literally 0 things happened during my duo. Now it's going to be released, so everybody will see it, but like nothing happened, and that's why I'm just not a fan of it. I'd rather something happen and it spooked me a little bit because I'm myself. If something happens when I'm with 2 people, I'm not going to be scared at all. Like I want that fear factor into it, because I think that does play a part for me why I think people believe in paranormal. Is I think it's a lot in your mind.
Yeah.
You
You
never
don't have
get
to jump
scared.
off a cliff to discover gravity. You can let the apple do it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's why I'm letting you do it. I'm letting you get scared.
But if we're doing
then-
the duo, you can see it grab me and drag me down the hall, and then
But I can see that on the film later
Okay,
too.
okay.
Yeah, not only that, then you can write down what you see. Like, damn, something was grabbing him. I couldn't see the hands. I couldn't see nothing.
Harky is
But
gone.
I can see it on the cameras.
Not always.
I got security cameras for a reason.
Maybe they don't show up on cameras, bro.
That's fine.
Okay, so I have to interject with that. So you think we get more activity when we're alone? You think that's because we're scared? Like
I think y'all do, yes.
yeah. So if we were with somebody and not scared, and we still got activity,
We still have a lot of activity.
But I don't think we get as much when we're doing group.
because how much?
'Cause I'm
of
there?
it's- Yeah, it's you, dude. God.
Yeah, that's right.
Like I said, I
Yeah.
feel like we're scared when we're alone, and that's why maybe that activity is not heightened. We are.
Yeah, maybe it's not real. It's us, right?
You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying. But I have to ask, Harky, what did you smell? Because to this day, like, what did it smell like?
Almost like a dead animal smell, I guess, is what I smelled, sort of. So I
because
can't
you-
believe y'all couldn't smell that smell. So it was that strong.
Yeah, because it was to the point where you was just
Yeah,
like,
but it's-
dang, y'all can't smell that?
I know, it's like you can't smell. So but if they didn't smell it, they didn't smell. I smelled it. That's all I can say, And it was just, I mean, it's a rundown kind of a building. So, I mean, you're going to have odors and smells, I guess. But
Animals can get in.
animals
Yeah.
get in and they definitely can die in that place.
But you're, so,
But I mean, again, it's like, again, it's dark and it's cold. You're going up a set of steps, and I don't know. You hear different sounds you think you're hearing, or are you really hearing it? I don't know. But again, I guess fear does start creeping in a little bit.
so Taylor, let me see how I can ask this question. Let me see how I can ask this question. So the nurses station, we go out for a very long time, Taylor, very long time. You go into room 3007, you have a conversation in there. We go to the most active part of this sanitarium. The activity that you got, do you think that activity was directly related to the questions that you asked and what you were presenting to the building, or you think it was just the music box faulty? Because we have had investigations where the REM pod was supposedly faulty, and we had a conversation about it. Like, if we're gonna just write it off as it being faulty all the time, then why are we using it? Yep. But now at the nurses station, though, it almost went off every time you said something. Every time you said something. Yeah. So I'm going back to it, and I wanna, as a believer, I want you to explain to me what was going on with the REM pod, because I know Gary is going to give me something completely different.
Sure. Yeah, honestly, the REM pod is like one of the devices that can go off because of like phone, it keeps in circulation, phone signal.
Okay.
It can be set off, stuff like that. But this time in particular, it was giving direct responses. Like right after I'd ask it
Yes.
to, it would go
Yes.
off.
Yes.
And then I went downstairs, it went off, I would go back up, and I think that's when it kind of stopped happening. But it was, honestly, it was like, it felt like it was playing a game with me. Because I'd try to go to another room, like it'd stop, and then I'd be like, all right, if you're not gonna do anything, I'm gonna leave. And then as soon as I leave, it's beep, and then chase me back in there.
Yeah.
So I like kept trying to, it was like almost like trying to like stop my investigation by like slowing me down. So to me, that was the best investigation I got. The curtain slap, I really, they say we got it on camera, or they say they didn't get it on camera. I still think we did. I'm gonna go back and look at the footage, but curtain slap would have been great to see. That was
During duos,
all this
yeah.
was doing during duos. So
Yes.
I really loved the duos this time. Or kick over that bowling pin.
What was that?
One of the curtains just went blue. Was that you? What was that?
Oh, Maeve, do you think that the entity, when it was going off up there, was tracking Taylor maybe? Or do you think it was kind of one of those things that it was maybe more than one entity passing that area? Or just one that was really like, hey, this is my area and don't y'all come over here because I'm taking care of this area?
I'm probably going to get skewered for saying this, but I am. But to me, when we use the REM pod, if that red light goes off, it's nothing. What's the kicker is you got to get the colors, because that is temperature. The red is temperature. It picks up everything. It can go off. To me, if it was tracking him and the colors were following him, that would have been amazing. But unless the colors go off, I kind of chalk it up to nothing.
I will quote those exact words she just said to Taylor, and that's my response.
Wow.
Hey, that's just like your opinion, man.
No, I do think he said, like he said, I think the phone can mess with it. I know he has his apps out at the same time, so could that mess with it? Possibly. It has been proven it does, but it doesn't do it every time. So I can't say it does it every time. Yeah. But I think, like she said, if we can ever get the colors to react, that's better proof than just the temperature. And I know you went over there to try to change that, and you pressed the button to try to change, see if we could get it like a better distance or something like that. You did something on it when you pressed the button. So like I commend you for that, because I think that's something that that you're trying to figure out. Okay, maybe it is messing up. Let me try and change this.
Yeah. So, but if it really was nothing, then I would do it when I wasn't in there, right?
Right.
Yeah, and it didn't do that. So
I like that rebuttal.
I think we got.
I like that.
And when
I
you
like
looked in
that.
another room, it went off and he came back.
yes, for 1 second. Yes, true.
Okay.
But go ahead.
So we got a sub question for everybody. Okay. This is our sub question for the day. Our sub question is from David Patterson of Waxhaw, North Carolina. And he says one of the most
Sounds like a banker.
one of the best investigating tools that he think is music. He was like, we don't use music, but if we did, how will we determine what race the entity is to know which music to play for them?
It's a very direct question.
I know.
That's going to set everybody up for failure.
Yeah.
So
You go first, Gary, if you want to.
how would you determine the race that not that it even matters
Yeah. Well,
if you're trying to get a hold of a paranormal?
So this is what I find interesting, though. This is what I find interesting. I found his question to be interesting only because whenever you talk about entities or you see ghosts or anything like that, race is never an issue. You don't know if they're black or white. Slave quarters, we just automatically assume, okay, depending on the time, we kind of put that time frame on.
Could have been Native American.
You get what I'm saying.
I'm just saying.
You get what I'm saying.
Yes.
All I'm saying is that if we're all dying at the same rate, then I could see the depiction of, like, is there a color on spirits? That's a really good question, though. Like, is it like if you don't? Now, let's make sure we get this understood, though. We're not a fan of kid spirits, right? We don't like that.
I don't care.
I know you don't care, but there.
I care.
I care.
I care.
Yeah, Maeve cares.
I care with you.
So if that's the case, then what does is your spirit a race, or is your spirit just a spirit?
Spirit's a spirit. There's no race involved. Race doesn't need to be brought into a ghost. And if it was, if you're trying to contact a African American spirit,
Tupac.
no, I'm just saying an African. I'm just saying an African American spirit.
You weren't supposed to say that.
So,
He might not be dead.
but exactly. He's alive. So you're not
might be
contacting him. So if you're trying to contact an African American spirit, in the spirit of actual paranormal investigating, D doesn't go in. He says that's not something black people do.
No.
So I don't think they would be haunting anybody.
Yeah.
Right.
It'd be the same thing. They don't want to be in this area. They don't want to be stuck here.
It may not be the Bible.
So I don't think they would be. I don't think you would be investigating that. They wouldn't want to. They wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah.
This old topic hasn't rained.
Go ahead, man.
I'm pleading the fifth on this one. I ain't even saying. I think it's more the place, like the
Okay.
place, the time frame where all the shit happened.
Right.
But no, I'm not touching the race
It's
thing.
raining for a reason.
I don't think it raises anything to do with paranormal investigations.
Yeah. Is this the? I found it interesting though because, granted, we hadn't left America, and I know that time is coming where we're going to do investigations in other countries, and as a result of doing it in other countries, will we have to know their culture to do that investigation?
I think we're going to have Taylor learn the language
Okay.
before we go.
Okay.
So wherever we go, so he's got to learn a lot of languages. So there's going to be a lot of work on him.
Yes.
And then he's going to have to translate.
They make
But then-
apps for that.
But now we're going to have to.
App guy.
But now we're really going to have to trust he's not lying to us.
Ooh,
So
yeah, that's a different one.
Like that, Google has a whole thing. It's like a.
I don't think you have
translator.
to. The thing is, I don't think you have to learn the culture or anything like that. I think it's more of just you're trying to contact something with a story that's around, and you're trying to contact that person that dealt with that story, and that's what you're trying to see if you can actually reach that person. But we don't want to know who it is. Only you're supposed to. So now it's actually evidence.
Okay. All right. That makes
Because
sense.
and because you brought up your very first investigation and how you got emotional, I am going to throw you under the bus. So a lot of people won't know this because it hasn't been released yet. His very first investigation was filmed, and it will be released at some point. But when he says he got emotional, he actually shed a tear during the investigation.
Yeah, I did.
So we were doing an investigation, and there was two people that got the same exact name that went in at different times. One heard it as a kid, one heard it as a girl, as an old man, and they didn't talk to each other. And on the count of three, D said, "Say the name you heard," and they both heard the same name, and he shed a tear because that was his first investigation, and he had something that touched him, I guess, on that.
Yeah.
So I think things like that, not knowing any of that history, because we don't know any of the history of it, but
No, we don't.
find that out, that's to me better evidence than just, oh, this is matched because this is what I think I heard.
Yeah. So Gary, you gave this location a 4 out of 10 during the initial investigation. Do you still stay with your 4 out of 10, or has that changed, or do you still feel the same way?
No, I still think I'm at 4 out of 10 on the investigation. I really like the location. I think the location's awesome. But again, when I base it off the investigation, I base it on the evidence we collect. So I don't think we collected a ton of evidence.
Okay.
So I would give it a 4 because I don't think there was enough evidence to bump it up that much higher.
Okay. Maeve, when you went and you experienced Sweet Springs, what would you give it? That rating when you did it, and then what rating would you give our investigation after you seeing what we saw?
I would, when I was there, I'm going to give it like a 6. I mean, because I was scared.
Okay.
We heard stuff. But you guys know me. So
Yes.
it could be whatever. But yeah, I give it a 6. After seeing you guys there, I'm not going to lie. Like, it's a good 5.
Okay.
Like, Harkey was awesome.
Okay.
Taylor's little dance moves, amazing. And I'm not like Gary stopping in his tracks, even though
Yes.
he kind of debunked it. Kind of, whatever.
Right
Shut
there.
up.
Just went off.
I never heard that when I was there. But like I said, I give it a good.
Okay. So, Taylor, you gave it a 7 out of 10 when you were there, and you gave the location a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Do you still feel the same way, or has that rating changed?
I think it's pretty much the same. I might give it a 9 out of 10
Whoa.
for location.
Oh, you dropped it one. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Yeah, 7 or 6 out of 10. Yeah, no, I'm just gonna say let's keep it the same, so I don't have to say anything about it because I really don't have any great opinions.
Okay.
It's about the same as it was.
Okay. So Harkey, coming into this, you said you were 75%.
Yes. Yeah.
75% non-believer?
It's correct. Yes.
Yes, 75% non-believer.
Yeah.
Percentage-wise then versus percentage-wise now?
I mean, I was 75 then.
Yeah.
I'm still probably 75 because, I'm not totally 100% believing. So, but
you during duos though you left. I mean during mini
no,
solos.
I mean, I didn't actually just leave. I mean, I was in there for a while.
But you left on your own though, without.
Yeah, I mean, I did leave on my own, but I just thought I heard other stuff going on below me that they were leaving out, so I headed out too. I'm like, why am I stuck in here?
Jump it to a 76.
Yeah, maybe 76.
75%.
He said non-believer. He said, yeah.
I went on this, from being in an audience of watching you guys on a
Yes.
premiere to getting the chance to go. So my experience would be a 10. It was outstanding. It was very tiring. Don't get me wrong. But it was a lot of fun, great experience. But I mean, to experience it, like you said, if you're just sitting back watching this thing and you say, "Oh, I can do it, a piece of cake." I don't know. I'm like you. I don't know if you can do it for like a piece of cake. So, because once you're alone, like he says too, like once you're in there all alone and it's super dark, people don't realize how dark. But you got this guy talking to you too, so that's the only thing you can hear. And so that kind of amplifies a lot too. I mean, so he messes with you. Let's just say that, right? So if you're a guest and you're watching this, do your homework or not.
Imagine having a black guy in your haunted house.
Shots fired.
The ones who die first every time.
No, but I'll stick with my I did say 7, I think, from
Yes.
yeah, I would still say the place, the setting and everything for me, again, first time ever going to something like this, a solid 7 for sure. I mean, it had everything, it looked like everything you would expect to be something great, so.
Okay.
Place to go for your first one.
Right, I mean, they took me to a good one on the first one for sure, so.
So Maeve, we have yet to see your investigative method. We get to see you next episode. I'm very excited about it because for the last couple of Skeptics Corners, you've been one of those that's been kind of sitting over here kind of talking about, what you see, but we finally get a chance to see you coming up in Trans-Allegheny. What can we look forward to and your investigative methods? And then I'm gonna ask the other guys what they can look forward to and what you're bringing to the team.
Oh gosh. I think I'm comedic relief, actually. Shut the fuck up. I don't honestly don't really remember. But I definitely get spooked. I heard some stuff, but I'm glad we debunked it. That was cool.
Okay.
I felt super brave going into the attic.
Yeah.
So how come every time I talk it rains?
I don't know. Yeah, I know, because this is the last.
It's like every time. But no, I think it's fun. I think you definitely get to see a side of me that's we haven't really done before. But I feel like I'm more confident now, and I've gotten acclimated to you guys. So I think I'm excited for everybody to see it.
Okay, Gary, what can we expect from Maeve in your eye?
Yeah, okay, that's better.
I'm going by the only experience that I had with her from the Euroshrine.
Okay.
So I'm expecting great things because I felt like there when she was willing to push the envelope. Now, I did call it Disney-esque to start, and then she stepped it up afterwards. So I think she will bring a unique aspect to the team, and she's willing to push the boundaries and willing to try new things. And I think that's something that I think just makes our team that much better.
Okay, Taylor, what do you think she brings to the table?
She's just a solid fit. She's she fits in, she vibes, she gels, she's good, she's got experience over all of us. She has more experience.
She does.
So she's
1900s, you said, since she's been doing investigations?
Yeah, early 1900s.
Early 1900s.
Yeah.
Early 1900s.
Just wait till we go to Salem. She'll be with
Yeah,
her,
she
with her
was-
relatives.
She was part
Right there.
She was part of the trials. She
That was it. That
was
was
a
it.
kid, but she's still part of it.
I was so stoked when they discovered like how to slice white bread.
Yeah, she went all through all that.
That's funny.
No, she's just a good fit, and yeah, I think she's gonna do great.
Okay. All right. I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait for the fans to see it. Harky, thank you again for joining us. If you're out there and you're thinking about being a brave soul like Harky, reach out to us, get in touch with us. If we have a guest spot open, we'll definitely have you on and definitely allow you to experience the things that we have experienced. I think
Say one thing.
Go ahead.
If you do reach out and want to come, just know you have to do solos by yourself. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Don't come unless you're going to do that, because that is a non-negotiable. Don't waste
Yes.
our time,
Yes.
because anybody can do it when you go with a group. It's a whole other level when you're by yourself, and Harky is evidence of that.
Is it a whole nother?
We're
But
just
I
inviting
did
people
go.
to
I did
come.
go.
Somebody who comments.
I did go in though. You did. With no problem. So.
Yeah. That's big. This is the best part of the show, Harky, because we want to thank everybody for joining us on another episode of Skeptic's Corner. The reason why I say it's the best part is because where we going next? Ask, is there any Cowboy fans in the building?
Are there any Dallas Cowboy fans besides me in this room? I think I heard someone say they're America's team.